Good morning and welcome to the porch. Well, it's time to go over a inspirational video today, and I picked a subject that's going to take a little more time than I want to put in one single video. This subject is very important, and in order to do it justice and say the things that need to be said or taught to be of benefit to you, I'm going to break this thing up into a three-part series. We're going to be dealing with three different emotional principles here that'll help us to understand life much better. We're going to be dealing with sadness or grief. We're going to be dealing with anger, number two. And number three, we're going to be dealing with joy or laughter. And all of these are very powerful emotions. Now, I want to say this in the beginning and maybe help us understand what prompted me to do this and change my view on emotions. Now, in my earlier years, I approached life in a very stoic way. And not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes that can get out of balance. I viewed emotions as a weakness. I viewed them as a way of making bad decisions. And let me say this, in some part that's true. What I watched throughout my younger part of my life was I'd watch people get emotional, whether it was joy or anger or sadness, and then they'd make a decision, sometimes a life-changing decision, while they were in that condition. And I would venture to say that if I said 90% of the times those decisions came out wrong, I think I'd be pretty close. So I took a very negative view on emotions. And I just felt like that people made their decisions on something that wasn't stable. And that was true in some respects. But let me turn that coin over, so to speak. I want to talk to you today about making your emotions work for you. The negative side of it is, if you don't know how to do this, you'll make decisions based on your emotions and they'll come out wrong the bigger part of the time. The positive side is, if you know how to make decisions with your emotions, you will make good decisions. And this is important for everybody in life. So, as always, I'm a storyteller, and I tell people stories to communicate truths, okay? One of my favorite words is veritas, meaning truth. And I like to get to the truth of things. So let's just go ahead and get started. It's been quite some years ago. I went through the loss of a friend that was very near and dear to me. And it was such a loss that it affected my emotions in a way that I could have never even seen. I've never had that happen before, nor have I had it happen since. But it affected me in such a way that, in such a depth, that I just couldn't get over it. And it wasn't that I was trying to hang on to it. It was just a wound on my heart so deep that I didn't know how to heal that wound. I didn't know what to do about it. So, being a stoic type personality, I basically just ignored it. Or at least I thought I was ignoring it. I went to work every day, came home every day, did what I was supposed to do, living life just like I was supposed to be living life as far as I could understand that. And I knew something was wrong with me. I could feel it. I knew that the grief was just so deep I couldn't seem to shake it off. So after about 3 months of that, I was in my office working, and was a knock came on the door. And when that knock came on the door, I answered it for them to come in, and they did. And it was one of the people that worked under my management. And this person was a very unique person in a lot of ways. Wasn't your average everyday person, very unique person. But anyway, I said, "Can I help you, Denise?" And she said, "Yes." She said, "You can." I said, "What's going on?" And she just went to crying. And I'm not talking about just crying in a few tears. I'm talking about boo-hooing. I mean, I thought she had lost part of her family or something and just got the news. She was just crying her eyes out. I finally got her settled down. I said, "Denise, what's going on, sis?" She said, "Boss," and she called me boss. She said, "Boss," she said, "I don't know what's wrong with you." She said, "But you got to get over it." She said, "You're so sad every time you walk by me." She said, "It almost kills me." And I was set back. I didn't know what to say. But I realized where it originated from. It originated from that loss I described to you earlier. Anyway, we talked for a while, and I told her, I said, "Denise," I said, "I lost a very dear friend, and I said, I'm having a hard time getting over it." And she said, "Well, you got to get over it." She said, "Because I'm worried about you." And she said, "You're so sad." She said, "It just hurts me." Anyway, we talked a little bit, and she left out, and I said to myself, "Now look, the way you feel is hurting other people. You got to get straightened out." So I started shaking that thing off. First of all, I realized then there was a problem. I really didn't realize it. I knew something wasn't right, but I just didn't realize what it was. But anyway, I just kind of started mentally shaking that off. But here's what I want to talk to you about today. That was a turning point in my life about emotions. I realized something. I realized that when I'm sad like that, or you're sad like that, it does affect other people. And the deeper the sadness and the grief, the more it may affect other people. And the more sensitive they are, it may affect other people. That would be the negative side of it, I guess. But let's talk about the positive side of it now. The positive side of it is I realized that Denise really cared about me as a person. That meant a lot to me. And also realized for her sake, I had to get sorted out. And so because she came to me, because she talked to me, she pulled me out of that. She may never know this, and I hope one day she sees this video and she realizes it. But she pulled me out of that hard time, but she taught me something. The positive side is she pulled me out of it. The more positive side of it is she taught me something. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to share your grief. You let other people be a part of your life. You let other people express their feelings towards you. And this is a good thing. Now, I want to say one more thing concerning this. It's not always letting somebody share your life or minister, as it were, to you. But sometimes when you see somebody in that shape, take this emotion of sadness and grief and be a good friend. Very cautiously approach people, because these can be very private moments. But be a friend. You might want to take them out to lunch or something, and just very gently and with lots of wisdom let them know you're there for them, that you love them, you care for them, and you want to help them if they need your help. This is life-changing stuff here. Now, we're only going to cover this one thing: sadness, grief. We'll cover anger the next time. Believe it or not, there's a positive side to anger. And then we're going to cover joy or happiness. And that's going to be the most fun one. We're going to save it for last, but it's going to be the most fun one. And we're going to learn how to take these things and turn them into a positive and let them work for us rather than against us. So I said all that just to say and make the point that being sad can draw people closer together. You can use sadness for you and for your friends. Love your friends. Be very conscientious when they're going through hard things. And to Denise out there, thank you, Denise. Thank you very much for being my friend. Okay, it's time to close this video out. We'll talk to you guys on the next one. May God bless. We love you guys.